Never apologize. Oh my goodness. So rule number one, never apologize, especially when you're right. And the reason why I say that is not to be, to have people be hostile to one another. The reason why I say that is that the people you're dealing with, the lineage of evil, these people do not care about right. They don't care about what's wrong. They don't care about truth. They don't care about facts. That's not what they care about. So they're the type of person that will cry about, Black Lives Matter and the riots and the protests. And then when the January 6th happened, say, hey, that was a peaceful protest. The only time that you can apologize or show any type of sincerity or truthfulness is when it is reciprocated. It is not reciprocated with these demons, bruh. It's just not. So you cannot apologize. And what I'm referring to is Simone Biles. Now, what has recently happened with Simone Biles is that she's gotten into this tiff with Riley Gaines. Now, Gaines is infamous for getting last place. That's correct. She got last place and tied with Lisa Thomas, who's a transgender swimmer, okay? And she made this whole big tiff about, oh, this is horrible. This is why men shouldn't be in women's sports and yada, 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 yada. That's the only reason why anyone knows her name. Having said that, Riley Gaines posted a retweet of a picture of a women's little league game. It was not little league, it was a women's softball game. That's what it was, a high school Minnesota softball, championship. And she's like, of course the comments are turned off, especially when your star player is a boy. Now, listen, I hear you. You don't want women in men's sports. I hear you loud and clear. But side note, I'll get to the story, but side note, let me just say this. You women do want men in women's sports, okay? It's quite evident. Riley Gaines wants men in women's sports. You want to know how I know that? Because you competed with who you believe to be a man, which is a biological man. You competed with Lisa Thomas. If you don't want men in women's sports, then don't compete with them. It's as simple as that. Take a stand. But you can't compete with them and then cry once you lose. That's not how that works. You just become a sore loser. So if women don't want men in women's sports, don't compete with them. But also, if you choose to compete with them, don't cry when you get last place. Don't cry when you lose. It's just hypocritical, and I'm tired of hearing this, okay? If you have a man competing in your sport, everyone needs to take a knee. Everyone needs to get off the field, get off the court, get off the mat, whatever it is, and not compete. Say, hey, I'm not competing. There has to be unity. But the only unity that I see with women is that women hate women. That's the only unity that we can expect. All right. I just want to put that out there. Okay. Back to the main story. Now listen, you can disagree with men and women's sports, but I mean, this is a high school Minnesota game, right? Like, why are we attacking, some kid? That's what I did. That's where I draw the line. We shouldn't attack kids, bruh. This isn't the kid's fault. It's the parents' fault. All right. This isn't this little Timmy's fault. It's not little Timmy's fault that his parents have been like, yo, okay, yeah, you're a girl. All right, you're a girl. That's not little Timmy's fault. That's the parents' fault. That's who you should be blaming. You don't attack the kid because of the decisions of the parents. That's not right. So Simone Biles quote tweets Riley Gaines in her statements on this, this softball game. And she's like, hey, this is disgusting. You're a sore loser. You should be focused on being more inclusive of people, or better yet, we should have a transgender category. That's what we should have. Now, the irony of this is that even though what she said was absolutely correct, 100% correct, this is actually opinions and sentiments that the right have been circulated in the ethosphere of the right-wing media, where they're like, hey, there should be a trans category. That's what you have. You should have a boys category, a women's category, and then a trans category, and let them compete. This is something that they have said, okay? But because it happens to come from Simone Biles, a black woman, I'm just putting it out there. I'm not making it racial. I'm just making an observation. Because it happens to come from her, well, she's wrong. Damn. She has been accused of now putting out pro-transgender propaganda and all this other stuff. And the issue that I have with this is that Simone is coming from this from a logical, level-headed position, okay? That, hey, I understand you may have issues with the fairness going on, but don't attack, an innocent kid. Don't do that, right? If you genuinely have an issue about this, you should, be advocating for not only inclusion, but find a way to include these people without substituting, fairness, without throwing fairness out the window. That is what she was getting at. So she does a follow-up tweet apologizing to Riley Gaines about, for her making it personal, and that how the focus was not to advocate for, unfairness in women's sports, but to advocate for fairness and inclusivity, which is something that everyone with an IQ above room temperature took from her initial tweet. That's what everyone took. So now, what do we have? Riley Gaines. When you have these grifters on the right, these shock jocks, that's all they are. They are there to elicit emotions. They're there to trigger people. That's all they are. They're not pushing any legislation. They're not pushing any policy. They're just there to cause anxiety and anger amongst people. That's all they are. They are there to cause division in this country because that's how they get paid. That is literally how Fox News gets paid. That's what it is. They are there to put out propaganda to dumb down the masses, to dumb down the people. So you have Riley Gaines, who's on Fox News, and saying, oh, she put out this groveling apology, because what she put out there was pro-trans propaganda and all of this.
She got to fulfill. That's the problem I have with that. But nonetheless, I accept her apology. I see this truthfully as a really big win. You have this really famous public figure who is now issuing a groveling public apology and backtracks after, again, tweeting pro-trans propaganda, if you will. This scenario would have been unthinkable a year, certainly 2 years ago. Whether it's sincere or not, I think that's a different question. But nonetheless, she learned we are not living in 2020 anymore.
What?
And this is, in a nutshell, who they are, okay? This is the crux of who they are. They are here to kill, steal, and destroy, all right? They are demons. They are the lineage of evil, as I've said. Riley Gaines is not looking to have a fair and balanced view of how to handle this situation. She's not looking to talk about fairness. She doesn't want to hear about inclusivity. She doesn't want to hear anything about that. All they want is a W, and they will do anything. They will cut off their nose to spite their face in order to get this W. They will go to war to get this W. They will starve their children, okay, to own the libs. That is what the party has become. It's become the party of owning the libs, despite whether or not it actually is a win for the country, despite whether or not it helps them or their people or the American people. All they want is to trigger the libs and to own the libs. That is their mindset.
Damn.
When Simone Biles puts out a tweet like this, in sincerity, it is going to be just, it's going to be torn apart. You're casting your pearls among swine. That's what she's doing. So I would say that not only Simone, but black people as a whole, all right, got to stop apologizing, all right? It's just as simple as that. Stop apologizing. Stop turning the other cheek. You can't do that with a group of people with a lineage who does not appreciate, who does not respect or value truth. You can't do that. They see that as weakness. That's how they view that. And just as we saw with the Riley Gaines, she views that as weakness. She will frame it as, oh, you're groveling apology. She admits that I was right. This is how their minds have been conditioned. It's unfortunate, but this is what we're dealing with. So even though Simone Biles said nothing wrong, she was absolutely 100%. She's not saying that men should play with, compete with girls. That's not what she was saying. She was saying that, hey, that there are people, individuals such as this kid, in Minnesota that want to engage in sports. That, instead of saying, hey, you can't compete at all, there should be a way, an avenue for them to compete. All right. That does not harm other women or other men. That's the whole point, was being inclusive, but also fair. That was the whole gist of her tweet. And you see how, these demons take it out of context and they run with their narrative. Okay. So it's unfortunate that this happened, but this should be a lesson. This should be a lesson. Stop trying to reason with evil. Think about that. You look like a fool. We look like fools when we try to reason with evil. Evil doesn't reason. It's evil. Anyways, guys, that's the video. Let me know what you guys think. Whether or not you believe Lucas, no, Simone, she got called out. Okay, she was trying to push the transgender propaganda. That's what she was trying to do. Or if you happen to believe that's not what she was trying to do at all. all she was simply saying is like, hey, stop attacking kids, bro. What you attacking a kid for? It's not their fault that they're in the, the girls softball team. That's not their choice. Like, what are you talking about? Nevertheless, if you happen to disagree, you know where to find me. Thursday through Saturday, disagreement day. You call in and we duke it out. Otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to like, share, comment. Let me know what you guys think about this. And subscribe. And that fun stuff. Till next time, guys, be amazing. Stop trying to reason with evil.